Hi everyone, good morning and welcome back. Today I wanted to share a video that's a little bit of a pre-intro slash teaser to the video that I'm going to put out on Thursday, which is some of my favorite shows that are going on in Tribeca right now. But first, I felt like it was appropriate to talk about something that's been going on for the last year, a little bit longer than the last year, but basically it's this Tribeca gallery boom that's happening in New York right now, and it's been really fascinating to witness. So I thought I would walk through it a little bit, what it is, why it's happening at a high level, of course very speculative, but yeah, and then share some of my favorite galleries that have been in Tribeca, and then also some of the newer galleries that are coming to Tribeca. I've also shared a link down below to my overall list of favorite galleries in Tribeca. If you haven't been to my website, feel free to check it out. I have lists for all of the major neighborhoods in New York, as well as in LA, in London, soon to come Mexico City. I try to put together lists for places that I frequent, and art scenes that I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on, if you will. And so, yeah, let's start talking about it. In August of 2020, I put together my first list of the Tribeca galleries that were there at the time, and this included like Bartolome Gallery, Ortizar Projects, I think it's Ortizar Projects, Ortizar Gallery, and at the time it was pretty significant because James Cohen had just opened a new location there, and then Canada actually moved from their East Village location across from Bang Bang Tattoo over to Tribeca. So that in itself felt pretty big news, right? Or so I thought. And I wrote this piece essentially titling it, I'm reading it off my computer, Tribeca is currently the most desirable neighborhood for galleries to migrate to in New York. And honestly, I don't think I realized how true that was at the time, because not only did the likes of course, James Cohen and Canada move over or open new locations there, so many galleries were to follow suit. So looking at the list now, PPOW moved, Lomex Gallery moved, Grimm Gallery, The Hole opened a second location, Lurig Augustine Gallery opened their third New York location there, Fright and Volume Gallery just moved, Nichelle Buchanan Gallery, and then David's Werner actually allegedly is gonna open another location there on 52 Walker Street. And so this is super exciting. Like literally the amount of galleries that are in Tribeca have, this is not an exaggeration, literally doubled in the last year. And so I want to talk a little bit about why that is, and then honestly why it's so great, and then some of my absolute favorite spaces. So one person, I mean obviously it's more than just one person, but a key figure in a lot of these gallery deals has been Jonathan Travis, and he's a partner of Redwood Property Group, and he has found spaces for so many of the galleries that I've just listed and more. I mean, we're talking Grimm Gallery, PPOW, Lurig Augustine, Ross and Kramer. Like, he has secured all of these deals and he has absolutely crushed it. So he's a big part to play in it. He's actually quoted saying for Gallery Magazine, "The fabulous old architecture, the feel of the neighborhood, subway accessibility, and the lower prices make Tribeca a wonder alternative to the overdeveloped West Chelsea. It's like the old Soho scene, but in a weird, renewed energy." And honestly, I could not have said it better. I mean, he hits every single nail on the head. In my opinion, Tribeca, it's very easy to get to, borders on Soho. It's, yeah, I mean, how do I describe it? Chelsea's growing, obviously, which is probably why a lot of the prices have skyrocketed. There's a ton of development that's happening over there around the High Line, tons of new buildings going up around Hudson Yards, and so I guess because of that, prices have really risen. However, there's not like a ton of great restaurants and shops and things still in Chelsea. It is predominantly just warehouses and galleries and things like that. Of course, you are bordering Hudson Yards and meatpacking, so like it's not like it's too far away, but I still find it challenging to be, in my opinion, to say like, hey, let's meet up for brunch and then go see galleries without having to like walk a little bit. Versus in Tribeca, you have places like Bubby's, Two Hands, the Odeon, which is like a cultural institution in itself. And it's really great to just meet up with friends and then walk over to Soho, see some galleries. I also love how close it is to the Lower East Side and Chinatown, just because so many of my favorite galleries are in that area as well. So like hit up some Tribeca galleries, walk over to Lyles and King Gallery. Like it's just easier, frankly, I find. And at basically every single subway line you could ever think of, bus line, all will get you to Tribeca, city bikes, whatever. I mean, it's just easier to get to. So that's more of on the utilitarian side. But honestly, I think the buildings and the architecture, like Jonathan is saying here, such a winner for me. I find the buildings to be so much more interesting in the sense that they have charm, they have history. You walk in, like for example, I just visited Grimm's new location, and these wooden floors just remind you of like an old tailor shop or something from the 1930s, just very like lived in. And then another key thing that a lot of these galleries have access to, which almost like doubles their space, and a great example of this is the Andrew Kreps Gallery. They actually refinished and totally opened their basement. So you walk down, I'll insert a picture of it because it's absolutely phenomenal. You walk down this gorgeous metal staircase and you have an entire gallery space downstairs. So lots of galleries are taking advantage of the fact that these places have basements, which I guess isn't as common over in Chelsea. And so that's phenomenal. But yeah, I just love how every gallery can have a little bit more of a unique brand, unique character. I mean, they already do obviously within their program, but to really see that reflected in the architecture is absolutely fantastic. And so I like that. It reminds me actually a lot of LA galleries. They all seem to have like a very different vibe reflected in the buildings. And I think it's really cool to see that starting to happen in New York. Another thing that I like, it warms my heart to see, are galleries that were previously in Chelsea, or actually in the Lower East Village. So two galleries I'm going to talk about, which is Freight and Volume Gallery and PPOW Gallery. PPOW used to be in Chelsea and Freight and Volume used to be in the Lower East Side, or they might still be actually. I don't know if this is a second location or if this is just a new location altogether. They've relocated, but they, Freight and Volume used to be next to Empanada Mama, which I freaking love. It's like such an amazing restaurant, but they were in this very tiny space. And I always thought they had such a great, unique, innovative program. They really find very cool emerging artists. And I just felt like, yeah, they deserve an incredible gallery space. Not to say that their other one wasn't, it was just quite small. And, now I feel like they've settled into a space that's like really deserving of how talented they are in finding emerging artists and putting together very interesting shows. So I feel so, yeah, I just feel like it's great for them, and all the congrats to Freight and Volume for making that move. Similarly with PPOW, they used to be in one of the art complexes where a lot of galleries share multiple floors. And so they were on a floor with, a few other galleries, and nice space, but the fact that they sort of shared, something about those shared gallery spaces always remind me of like a mall for some reason, and I just like, I don't know, I don't love that as much. But now that PPOW has moved into their own place off of Broadway, it's absolutely stunning, gigantic, and I just think it's just far more fitting of their program. So I love that for them. And yeah, honestly, same with Nichelle. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing this wrong. Really amazing user told me how to pronounce it and I've already totally forgotten, but her gallery space, she actually used to share a space with Jack Hanley, and they would sort of rotate whoever would get the main floor. Loved that space, still love that space, but Jack Hanley, I guess, is taking over the whole space now, and Nichelle has her own amazing space. So I just feel like everyone's growing up, coming into their own, and it just makes me happy to see that. And so, yeah, but overall, I want to talk about some of my favorite spaces / new galleries that have come in. Like I mentioned already, PPOW, Freight and Volume, so great to visit those. I would say Andrew Kreps is so cool in the sense, and Michelle in the sense that like you have to go through an alleyway kind of to get to them. I find that really charming and unique. And then Andrew Kreps, once you get inside, it's just like absolutely massive. I mean, it's, especially now with their basement that they've added on, it's so huge. Yeah, just incredible. And let me take a look. Yeah, I mentioned the cool floors at the Grimm Gallery. Lomex Gallery. I actually never went to Lomex Gallery when they were in the Lower East Side. I don't think I have. I always get them a little mixed up with Lubov Gallery. But they were pretty hard to find, to be perfectly honest. And that's another huge advantage of some of these Lower East Side galleries moving over to Tribeca, is that very, very easy to find now, very accessible. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to my list of the East Side galleries and you'll see pictures of some of these. It's really challenging to just find them right off of the street. They're usually on the 5th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor. And the entrances are not as obvious if you're just walking around on the street in New York. And so I feel like Lomex Gallery, they're on the 3rd floor still, but oh my gosh, this space is like to die for. You have exposed brick, you have, the hallways are really wide and beautiful. Even when you are going into a walk-up, you don't feel like you're gonna get murdered like some of the galleries in the East Village. Let's talk about Lurig Augstein. So they have a beautiful location already in Chelsea and actually in Bushwick. Gorgeous, gorgeous locations, but their location on White Street is right down the street from right down the street from Ortazar. And yeah, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous building, black columns, you walk in. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, it's just a really, really pretty space. So that's great. Yeah, so if you're in New York and you want to see some shows, but you don't want to like have to make a whole day out of it, make the trek over to Chelsea, I cannot recommend seeing Tribeca galleries enough. And then actually wandering up to Soho, checking out Drawing Center, checking out Jeffrey Deitch. You could even wander up to Meatpacking from there. But yeah, Tribeca is where it's at. I'm super excited, especially with the announcement of David Zwirner, to see if any of the other mega galleries like Gagosian or Hauser are gonna move over and make a little boutique space over on Tribeca. So yeah, I'm gonna keep you posted, but for now, just know that, I mean, some of these are so new, like Freight and Volume hasn't even updated their Google listing. That's how new it is. I've just included the blank address in my Google Doc. So if you see the Lisbonard, which is also on the street that Canada's on, that's actually Freight and Volume. Similarly, obviously David Zwirner hasn't even opened yet, but I've just included the Walker Street address in my list as well for future reference. So new, they're not even updated on Google. So yeah, just wanted to give all these great galleries a shout out, welcome them to the Tribeca neighborhood. And if you're in the area, then definitely stop by. So, and stay tuned for my video on Thursday. I'm actually going to show the inside of a lot of these galleries and highlight some of my favorite shows that are happening right now. So make sure you subscribed so you can get notified when that one goes live. But I will talk to you all then. See ya.